Just a preface to this video, after I made it, I looked at it and I thought maybe it needed a little preface. The things you need to do in this video definitely need a parent's help. So please don't use scissors or use the dirt without a parent giving you a hand. It's just a little safety to start the video. Okay, here we go. Good morning, everybody. I'm making a video today to go out to the elementary students of the Newton Falls schools. I was outside today and I was walking around and listening to what I could hear and seeing what I could see, and I saw some really cool things that I thought I would share with you. So I'm going to put those up right now. And all that stuff is signs of spring. The things you heard are what we call spring peepers at our house. Those are little frogs. There were some daffodils, which are my favorite plant to have in the springtime. And the reason is, of course, because no one wants to eat them. So they stay in my garden. And various other things. And what this made me think of is that it's time for me to start planting gardens. And I'm normally in your classrooms right now planting gardens with you. And that kind of made me sad. But then I realized kind of a cool thing. I have been planting gardens with the Newton Falls schools for 10 years. So if you have been in a kindergarten, first, second, or third grade classroom anytime in the last 10 years, you've already done this. You know how to do it. In fact, I have a joke I usually tell to the second and third graders where I say, hey, you've done this before. Why don't you teach this lesson? And so that's what I'm going to ask you to do. If you've done this with me before, you kind of know how it goes. And if you have younger siblings in the house or even your parents, you can show them how to do it. So today we're going to take a quick run through of how to plant some seeds. And then tomorrow I'll come back and give you a little bit of the seed lesson. If you guys remember the seed lesson, it's fun. And we might do a pollinator one too. So there'll be more videos coming up. But today we're just going to plant some seeds. So as you guys know, you only need 3 very simple things to grow a plant. You need some dirt, a pot, and some seeds. Now, I know not everybody has all these things at home right now. If possible, you can probably order them online. If you can get your hands on some dirt and some seeds, there's lots of other options for pots, and I'm going to show them to you. You can use just a regular flower pot if you have one around. If you don't, you can use a cup. Here's a paper one, and here's a plastic one. If you're going to use either one of these, you definitely want to poke a hole in the bottom, maybe even a couple of holes that will let the extra water drain out because we don't want to drown our seeds. So that's a possibility. The other possibility is something that I know some of you have, which is a toilet paper roll. Now, I didn't actually have a toilet paper roll, but I did have a paper towel roll, so I just cut one in half. And the easier way to do this is first find your scissors that you just had. Haha. And you're gonna trim your pot to about 4 inches there. And then you're gonna cut the bottom so it looks kind of like the bottom of a cardboard box. You know, you just want these 4 little flaps. Okay, and then you're just going to fold them in, just like you would a cardboard box. There we go. So you kind of fold in the bottom, and then you have a little pot. Now, with most of these options, like I said, it's important to have a drainage hole in the bottom, but that means there's going to be water leaking out. So always remember, if you're going to put it on a windowsill, that you do need to put something under it so it doesn't leak on your windowsill or your table. And that is the pots. Now here comes the obvious part. You're gonna take your dirt. If you have Miracle-Gro dirt, it's gonna be kind of dry in its container, so you're gonna wanna make it a little bit damp, not mud. You don't want mud, you just want a little bit damp. And you're gonna put a little dirt in your pot. You want to kind of make it a little bit flat, but you don't want to pack it down because you want room in there for roots to grow and you want room for the seed to germinate. So you're just going to put some dirt down in there, and then it's time for the seed. The depth that you're going to plant the seed depends on actually the size of the seed. We're going to look at the seeds tomorrow. But a general rule of thumb is the bigger your seed is, the deeper you can plant it. So if you have something really tiny like carrot seeds or onion seeds, you just want a little bit of dirt over top. If you're planting a bean, you can plant it a little bit deeper. You guys know that when we do this in the classroom, we kind of just stick it there and give it a poke. Cover it up And there you go. So we're going to see how this guy goes. We're going to put him on a windowsill in the sunshine, and we're going to keep him a little bit damp, not too wet. Especially if you're doing smaller seeds, you don't actually need to water them. You can just mist them with a spray bottle. The bigger seeds you may actually water with a watering can, but not too much. You don't want your dirt too wet. You just want it damp, okay? Especially while the seed's germinating. Once you have a plant, you can give it a little bit more water. So that's how that goes, and now it's time to wait and see what happens. So, as you can see, and if you'll remember from my lessons at school, gardening takes patience. Your seeds won't sprout today, and they won't sprout tomorrow, and they probably won't sprout the day after that. But eventually, they will. We just have to be patient. Tomorrow is another day, and our seeds will sprout eventually. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you tomorrow. So, as you can see,